Okay, so once you have browsed and used a basic search to find a topic, you can also go a little bit deeper and do an advanced search with some of the techniques that we just talked about, like Boolean operators and limiters and Boolean symbols. Now, in Destiny, that's your power tab. It's what we normally call an advanced search, but here it's called power. And this is the screen that's going to show up. Now, the great thing about Destiny is if you forget how to do anything, you can always click this little Destiny help button and a pop-up is going to tell you exactly what to do on that page, which is incredibly beneficial. It even re-explains the Boolean operators. So your Boolean operators are automatically in there. So we're going to type in World War II. Now remember from our basic search, we learned that we actually have to put World War and then the dates. Otherwise, it's not going to turn anything in. This drop down is like your keyword buttons on the basic search. So we're going to select subject. And then the drop down on this side, you get some options on how to search. You can search all the words, any of the words starts with this or this exact phrase. Now, this exact phrase is like putting in your quotation marks. So we're going to search for World War II and Japan. Your project is on World War II in the United States, so I don't want to take away all of your searching for that. So I'm going to use kind of the opposite of what you would want to do. So I'm going to look for the subject of Japan, and I'm going to ignore all the limiters at the bottom. We'll talk about that in a second. And we're going to search and see what we get. Okay, so I get 8. If I'm just kind of scrolling through here, I do see that I'm getting some stuff, although I am noticing that I do get some fiction in there as well. But I am curious what would happen if I refined my search and I used a truncation after Japan. If I put the asterisk at the end, it's going to search Japan, Japanese, any form of the word. Let's see if that gets us a little bit different result. It does. It gives us 22. Now, you notice over here it's sorted by call number. You want to make sure to take a look and see how it's sorted, because if it's sorted by relevance, you're going to get a mix of things. But if it's sorted by call number, you're going to be able to sift through it a little bit easier. So you notice the first one I'm going to want to ignore because it's a well, maybe not, it's a comics. Then I'm going to go through, and I did get a lot more. I got a lot more things on Japanese internment camps um, and things like that. So that gave me a bigger pool of items to look through. So make sure that if you know there are variations of the word, use that asterisk truncation symbol to give yourself a few more options. Now, let's say that I wanted to do the World War II, Japan, but I do not want the United States. And so when I'm doing United States as a keyword, as a subject, I want to actually use that exact phrase just to make sure that it gets used together. And let's see what happens to our search. Let's see if it eliminates anything. It did. It took out a few titles, and that limited. So you want to just kind of compare the results that you get by giving it some parameters and using a little bit more of an advanced search. Now, let's also talk about the Boolean operator of the wildcard, the question mark. Let's say that we want to look at women in World War II. But if I type in woman in World War II, I don't get anything. So I know that there's some variations of this. So what if I replace the A with a question mark? That's going to give me women and woman, and just it might help my search a little bit because there's other possibilities. And sure enough, I do get some things that are women in World War II. So that might be something that you could do as well when you're using your Boolean symbols. Now, on your limiters, we're going to go back to Japan with our asterisks. And you have things that you can do to limit your search for titles. Now, I want to go back to my search on Japan. We're going to look and see how many titles we had. We had 22 titles. Now, when you look through, you're going to see these little symbols. That tells you what you're looking at here. It looks like we've got all books. So let's go back and let's see if we can find something that it has a mixture. I'm going to actually take Japan out of there and I'm going to do Germany. Same thing, I'm going to put an asterisk after German because I might get German or Germany. And you can see that I've got 27 things returned. But here we've got an ebook, we've got an audiobook, a DVD. So I have a bunch of different formats. So when you're going back to your search, you can also limit that by material type if you want to. If you're only looking for books, you can make sure that it does that. You can also look for different reading levels as well. Now, the last thing I wanted to show is you can click to include online resources, and it's going to go ahead and look to see if there are any websites or any online resources as well. Let's go over and take a look at an advanced search on Gale. All right, so once you're in here, you can click the advanced search. This is very similar to the layout of Destiny. It automatically gives you your Boolean operators of and, or, and not. And the nice thing about here is it can actually give you some search tips. It'll remind you how to use Boolean operators, and it also gives you the special characters that are going to help you out as well. So you do have some tips. Now on this one, your limiters, you can look for full text documents. If you only want academic journals, you could select that. And you could also kind of look at the content level. Maybe you want things that are appropriate for you. You can look for document types and things like that. We're going to go and we're going to use the exact same things that we did, although we don't have to. Oh, there we go. We've got World War II. Go ahead and click it from the drop down, and we want to look at Japan. And you can see again that you have a lot of different things there. So we're going to go ahead and put that asterisk in there and search. Except you're going to notice I just did a keyword search. Well, let's just see what happens. Wow, that's a lot of stuff to go through. Just 306 magazine articles. So I do want to revise my search. I really did mean to do a subject search because a subject search is only going to search the subject headings from the Library of Congress that it's given, and that's going to help narrow my search because remember the goal is to get the best, most accurate information, not the most. Most information does not win. So you can see that took just our magazines, that cut our magazines in half over that. So you can take a look at some of the things that you can do there. You can filter your results, put those limiters from this page as well, and look through and see what you might want. It's going to give you all kinds of different formats. So just like with Destiny, you want to make sure to use your Boolean operators. You want to make sure to do a subject search, and you want to use some of those tips and utilize the functions that they give you. Good luck searching.